November 23, 2023. At 8 a.m., the LAPD rushed to an industrial area in Willowbrook, Los Angeles, following a 911 call. At the scene, investigators discovered two individuals deceased. One of them was Eddie Escobedo, a 39-year-old man renowned in the LA party scene for his extravagant lifestyle and his associations with Mexican music stars such as Larry Hernandez and Edwin Caz, the lead singer of Grupo Firme. Escobedo, also known in the underworld as El Mago, or the Magician, was at an after-party with his friends when he was suddenly targeted with a firearm. Witnesses indicated that El Mago was unable to defend himself, having been struck from behind. The aggressor was neutral.
That stood at the party too long, huh? Don't be the guy. Don't be one of the guys at the end of the party, man. Break out early.
Neutralized by one of Escobedo's friends, who subsequently fled the scene. The day before, in Culiacan, Sinaloa, Nestor Isidro Perez Salas, also known as El Nini and the former head of security for Los Chapitos, was arrested by the Mexican Marines at one of his residences. How are these two events connected? Who was El Mago, and who orchestrated his attack? Who disclosed the location of El Nini to the Mexican authorities? Is there turmoil within the inner circle of Los Chapitos? In this,
what y'all think? Y'all think it's connected? Or y'all think it's just the internet taking pure coincidence and turning it into something? There's only so many times you can put your neck out there before somebody reach for it.
Episode of Illicit Investigations, we reveal new insights into Eddie Escobedo's involvement with the Sinaloa cartel and uncover the orchestrator behind his tragic end. We also bring to light fresh details about the internal disputes in the cartel faction led by Ivan Archivaldo Guzman, which, according to the DEA, is the most powerful criminal organization in Mexico. Stay tuned.
Good old time.
Eddie Escobedo was part of the party elite in LA, Las Vegas, and Miami, well known among celebrities and all.
Boy, he running around taking pictures with Pacino and shit. Pacino, you know who you taking a picture with, man?
Often seen at VIP tables in nightclubs alongside stars like Floyd Mayweather and Dan Bilzerian. He traveled in private jets, gambled thousands of dollars in casinos, and was a VIP guest at sports events, including the Formula One in Las Vegas. He led an extravagant lifestyle with a passion for exotic cars, expensive watches and jewelry, and top fashion brands. He presented himself as a successful entrepreneur who had left behind his dark past related to drug trafficking. He owned a teppanyaki food chain, originally called Benabachi, which he renamed Best Hibachi due to a trademark legal dispute with Benihana. However, behind the facade of that chain of Asian restaurants, a powerful member of the Sinaloa cartel was hiding. Eddie Escobedo, El Mago, was one of Ivan Archivaldo Guzman's most trusted men in the United States and one of his main drug distributors in California. He served 4 years and 9 months in federal prison for conspiring to distribute more than 10,000 kilos of marijuana and laundering drug proceeds. He was released in 2018. Born in Sonora.
He said nothing? There's no paperwork on this guy? There's nobody saying, hey, he put me in jail? I don't know. 4.5 years?
Mexico, and raised in East Los Angeles, Escobedo was related to the
It ain't crazy. It wasn't nobody. It was some bud.
And laundering drug proceeds. He was released in 2018. Born in Sonora, Mexico, and raised in East Los Angeles, Escobedo was related to the Chaidez family, a wealthy Mexican-American family that distributed drugs for the Sinaloa cartel in California. El Mago learned the business at a young age and became the primary drug distributor in Los Angeles for El Chapo Guzman's eldest son, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman Salazar. From a young age, he began behaving like a thug. In 2008, police found a bullet-riddled silver Bentley Continental GT crashed on the 101 freeway in downtown LA. Behind the wheel with a bullet in the back of his head was 25-year-old Jose Luis El Güero Macias, a member of the Arellano Felix cartel. El Mago ordered this attack but was never charged for it. Years later, in July 2011, Escobedo, then 27, was arrested leaving a stash house in Torrance, California, where police found a ton of marijuana and 20 kilos of cocaine. He was released on probation. For years,
What? What are we talking about here? Talking about cold-ass lawyers that's getting him this time out on probation. The first time it was Bud. He did 4.5 years. This next time,
then 27, was arrested leaving a stash house in Torrance, California, where police found a ton of marijuana and 20 kilos of cocaine. He was released on probation. For years, El Mago laundered drug proceeds for the Sinaloa cartel by purchasing exotic cars and shipping them to Culiacan, the capital of Sinaloa and the cartel's stronghold. Many of the Lamborghinis, McLarens, Nissan GTS, and Ferraris rolling in the streets of Culiacan were sent by El Mago. He developed a strong friendship with Ivan Archivaldo Guzman. Federal agents tapped phone conversations of him with the leader of Los Chapitos, arranging drugs and cars businesses. After his release from federal prison in 2018, the best days of Eddie came. His wealth started growing. He became more and more famous in the party elite and developed close bonds with artists like Mexican-American singer Larry Hernandez and Luis Coronel. However, according to some of our federal sources, Eddie Escobedo never left the drug business. As soon as he was released from prison in 2018, Los Chapitos started delivering shipments of cocaine, meth, and fentanyl for him to distribute in California, and he laundered part of the proceeds with his restaurant Best Hibachi, which rapidly expanded with new locations. He continued purchasing exotic cars, expensive watches, and jewelry. But as dynamics within the inner circle of the Guzman shifted, Eddie began making enemies he didn't know, ultimately leading to his murder. In 2023,
bro, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. He had to be somehow working for the U.S. government. Because, again, he's on this side as well. You know what I'm saying? He's not even just on that side. He's on this side. He getting probation for kilos. Like, what?
the relationship between Nestor Isidro Perez Salas, also known as El Nini, and his former boss, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman, began to deteriorate. El Nini had been the head of security for Los Chapitos, responsible for managing hundreds of sicarios to protect the Guzman brothers. However, in January 2023, the Mexican military raided a house in the town of Jesus Maria, near Culiacan, and arrested Ovidio Guzman, who was later extradited to the United States. Following this event, Ivan Archivaldo was deeply disappointed with El Nini, blaming him for his brother's arrest. He started losing confidence in him. El Nini...
We asked that question the other day. Is it a case of, you were supposed to keep my brother from getting taken and you failed? They was like,
your services are no longer needed in the community.
Come and get him, feds.
Became increasingly rebellious, making his own decisions, and even contemplating starting his own criminal organization separate from Los Chapitos. Ivan Archivaldo wanted to remove him to restructure his organization and take control of the men who were following El Nini's lead. Oscar Noé Medina Gonzalez, also known as El Panu, and Ivan Archivaldo's best friend since childhood, advised Guzman to be patient. However, in October 2023, El Nini made a big mistake by ordering the kidnapping of 6 young people in Culiacan, one of whom was a DEA informant and another a 13-year-old child. This act escalated tensions between Los Chapitos with both the Mexican and American governments, and was the final straw in the relationship between Ivan Archivaldo and his former security chief. El Nini sent one of his lieutenants, known as El Chango, to carry out the kidnapping. The bodies of the 6 victims were discovered in the state of Durango days later. Ivan Archivaldo had not authorized this kidnapping and was furious. In retaliation, days later, Guzman tipped off the Mexican military about El Nini's whereabouts, leading to his arrest. And
he said that very matter-of-factly. Guzman tipped off authorities about Nini's whereabouts.
Guzman tipped off the Mexican military about El Nini's whereabouts, leading to his arrest and effectively removing him from power. Anticipating the end of his freedom, El Nini...
So here's the thing, then that offers another wrinkle. Let's just say we're absolutely sure. Let's say, and Nini even knows, let's say we're absolutely sure, like, have the Chapitos up and said, hey, we turned him in? But let's just say they did turn him in. And Nini knows it, everybody knows it. Is he more foolish for still giving them his loyalty, supposedly, and saying, oh, 14 years it's been the same, and I'm on team Guzman? Or He's just placating them until the time comes that he sits on that stand and gives up everything. Well, now he's going to sing on everybody, or they're going to give him 600 years, or they might not. Because look at this Mago guy. El Mago got caught with bricks, and they was giving him probation and shit. Something very strange about that whole thing.
Nini had left instructions for his men in California. If something happens to me, take down Eddie Escobedo, Ivan's closest friend and ally in the U.S.
There it is.
Indeed, El Nini had ordered the attack on El Mago, which occurred just one day after his own arrest in Culiacan. The assailant in the gun attack, who was shot and subdued at the scene, was 47-year-old Guillermo de Los Angeles Jr., also known as Candyman, a notorious hitman previously associated with the Arellano Felix cartel in Los Angeles and hired by El Nini's men. Eddie Escobedo left a wife and several kids.
Omar said they would get no benefit by turning him in. In the mafia life, they just simply eliminate you when you have no use no more. Now, I thought about that too. I thought about, okay, if they no longer had a use for him and they were tired of him, why not smoke him? Why not just get rid of him? But we can't say that they don't turn each other in, Omar, because there are instances where there is some kind of wrinkle of why they can't end somebody, right? Maybe it's some kind of connection that one has to somebody else that makes it so that they don't want to smoke this person. They turn each other in all the time. So we know that happens. So it's not beneath them to not smoke them and just turn them in. That does happen. We hear about it, you know, because if that was the case, like, why would they ever turn in anybody? It's a double-edged sword. They get two things out of it. Maybe they had a heart. They were like, let's just turn them over. According to this AI voice that we just listened to, the connection is that, and Nini said, if something happens to me, you make sure something happens to El Mago. Evidently, they made that happen.